Namaskar. Uh, we welcome you to Hindi University, West Bengal, to be a part of our celebration of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee and his life and work. We are celebrating an entire fortnight. The students had essay competitions, debate competitions, and faculty members had a discussion forum on the life and works of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee. And then this special lecture to be delivered by Professor Ajanta Paul is going to be on the language policy of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee. Professor Ajanta Paul is one of the most eminent scholars in the state, and she has been continuously contributing to academia through research and publications and teaching. Dr. Paramita will anyway introduce her formally. I welcome Professor Ajanta Paul, and I express my sense of gratitude to Professor Ajanta Paul for having accepted our invitation to deliver a special lecture on the language policy of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee. As the Vice-Chancellor of the university, I feel that it's time that we make our students and our faculty aware about Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee, who was a champion of Bengal's cultural and intellectual legacy. Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee, he upheld Bengal's civilizational heritage. He promoted education, cultural pride, and intellectual self-respect of the state during a period of political upheaval, trauma, and the period of partition of West Bengal. He was the founder of some key educational institutions, and as a visionary educationist, he played a crucial role in strengthening higher education in Bengal. And he notably contributed as the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calcutta. And he emphasized academic autonomy and excellence for the University of Calcutta and, of course, for the entire state. He was instrumental for the protection of Bengali interests during the partition, like I already said. He was instrumental in safeguarding the political, cultural, and the linguistic interests of West Bengal during that crucial period, and he ensured that West Bengal retained its identity, its unique identity in India. He advocated for linguistic pluralism in the state while aiming at national unity. Dr. Mookerjee supported the idea that India's unity must accommodate linguistic diversity. He respected all the Bhasha literatures, regional languages, the many languages of the country, while his priority definitely was his mother language, and he argued for national cohesion beyond linguistic parochialism. And he had a very balanced language policy vision. That is what Professor Ajanta Paul is going to discuss today in this very special lecture. He believed that Indian languages should nourish alongside Sanskrit and Hindi. All Indian Bhasha languages, literature should nourish alongside Sanskrit and Hindi without undermining any other regional language. And he promoted a multilingual, inclusive framework rather than kind of linguistic dominance. We at Hindi University follow 3 languages policy. Our teaching and our research and our methods of communication, everything we do in Bengali and Hindi and English. We follow the 3 languages policy indeed. And he talked about the opposition of cultural erasure, like silencing some voices, some cultural voices. He was against that. His political stance consistently resisted any form of cultural or linguistic marginalization. especially in the border regions of Bengal affected by displacement and demographic change during the partition. His contribution to national integration was definitely very, very important. While deeply rooted in Bengal's ethos, Dr. Mukherjee viewed languages and cultures as bridges, not as barriers, and to national integration, to a vision that later on influenced debates on federalism and linguistic states. So, all these things were naturally introduced by Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee. And today we are celebrating the life and the vision and the works of Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee in various universities, Hindi University being one of those. And we are celebrating this fortnight. Once again, I express my deep sense of gratitude to Professor Ajanta Paul for having accepted our invitation to deliver this special lecture on Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee and his language policies. Thank you and welcome and namaskar.
A great privilege for me to be able to share my thoughts with you on Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee and his language policy during the observance of Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee week fortnight in the state. I thank Professor Nandini Sahu, Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Hindi University, West Bengal, for extending this gracious invitation to me. Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee, son of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, noted educationist and well-known jurist, was born in the year 1901. He was a brilliant scholar who received his BA degree in English Honours from Presidency College in 1921, his MA degree from the University of Calcutta in 1923, and his LLB in 1924. Later, he studied law in England at Lincoln's Inn and was called to the English bar as a barrister in 1927. Thus, it is seen that he was an academician, barrister, and politician who contributed simultaneously to several fields in a newly freed nation striving to articulate a comprehensive agenda of governance. Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee occupied many important positions in his lifetime. He was the president of Akhil Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha from 1943 to 1946. He was the Minister of Industry and Supply in Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet, in which capacity he helped lay the foundations of industry in India. However, he fell out with Nehru over the Liaquat-Nehru Pact, and with the help of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, he founded the Jana Sangh, which was the precursor of the Bharatiya Janata Party as we know it today. The multifaceted political leader held many significant posts, including that of member of Indian Constituent Assembly, Finance Minister of Bengal Province, and the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calcutta. He was the youngest ever Vice-Chancellor of the university, having enjoyed a meteoric administrative rise. Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee played an important role in India's language debate during independence, which was a highly polarized conflict over national identity versus regional diversity. The Constituent Assembly of India struggled to find a compromise between three groups, namely the Hindi supporters, the advocates for a neutral so-called linked language, and regional representatives demanding equal status for their mother tongues. The Hindi nationalists, led by leaders like Purushottam Das, demanded that Hindi in the Devanagari script be made the sole national language. They viewed English as a symbol of colonial oppression and sought to replace it immediately. Then there were those who favoured Hindustani. Prime among the advocates of Hindustani were Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. who believed that Hindustani, a fluid blend of Hindi and Urdu, written in either script, represented a secular, inclusive bridge between Hindu and Muslim communities, though this view lost traction after the partition. There were also the southern and regional representatives. They were the leaders from South India, particularly the Madras Presidency, who strongly resisted the imposition of Hindi. They feared, with northern linguistic hegemony, their vernacular linguistic and cultural traditions would be threatened, and argued that English was a vital, unifying, and aspirational instrument required for the development of the fledgling nation. A constitutional compromise had to be effected. The Munshi Iyengar formula was adopted to prevent the assembly from collapsing. K. M. Munshi and N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar drafted a compromise known as the Munshi Iyengar formula, which was adopted on September 14, 1949. According to this, Hindi was adopted as the official language, not a national one. The term national language was dropped. Instead, Article 343 of the Constitution of India declared Hindi in the Devanagari script as the official language of the Union. However, English too was retained in a certain capacity. As a massive concession to non-Hindi speaking states, English was allowed to continue as an associate official language for a transitional period of 15 years, say till about 1965. In terms of long-term impact, the constitutional compromise did not permanently extinguish the debate. As the 1965 deadline for the removal of English approached, fierce anti-Hindi agitations erupted, particularly in Tamil Nadu. This forced the government to pass what was known as the Official Languages Act of 1963, which allowed for the continued use of English indefinitely, ensuring India remains a multilingual state without a singular national language. Extract from Dr. Syama Mookerjee's speech in the Constituent Assembly of India Debates Proceedings, Volume 9, Tuesday, the 13th September 1949, to illustrate his beliefs and position in this crucial colloquium. I quote, "Today it stands to the glory of India that we have so many languages from the north to the south, from the west to the east, each one of which, in its own way, has made contributions which have made what Indian life and civilization are today. If it is claimed by anyone that by passing an article in the Constitution of India, one language is going to be accepted by all by a process of coercion, I say, sir, that will not be possible to achieve. Unity in diversity is India's keynote and must be achieved by a process of understanding and consent, and for that a proper atmosphere has to be created. Now, if I belonged to a province where Hindi is the spoken language, I would have felt proud today of the agreement to which practically all the members of this house have voluntarily submitted themselves by accepting Hindi in Devanagari script as the official language of free India. That is a solid achievement, which I hope those friends of mine who come from the Hindi-speaking provinces should appreciate. I am not talking about the relative claims of other languages. Left to myself, I would certainly have preferred Sanskrit. People laugh at Sanskrit today, perhaps because they think it is not practicable to use it for so many purposes which a modern state has to fill. I do not want to take your time by dwelling on the claim of Sanskrit. I am not fully competent to do so, but most certainly that is a language which still is the storehouse, shall I say the unlimited and illimitable storehouse from which all knowledge and wisdom are drawn, not so much perhaps by the present generation of the Indian people, but by others who have preceded us and by all true lovers of learning and scholarship throughout the civilized world. That is our language, the mother language of India. We do wish not for paying lip sympathy or homage to its genius, but in our own national interests, so that we may rediscover ourselves and know the wealth and treasure that we accumulated in the past and are capable of achieving in future. We do wish that Sanskrit will reoccupy an honored place in the national education system of India. Unquote. Now, this is actually what is happening today with the new education policy in place, which has put such a great focus on Sanskrit and its development. So I go back to Syama Mukherjee's speech and I quote, "I am not similarly advocating the claims of other languages. You will not call it provincial if I say that I am proud of my own language. It is a language which has not remained as a mere language of the people of Bengal alone. It was the language enriched by many noble writers for centuries past. The language of Vande Mataram. It was our national poet Rabindranath Tagore who raised the status and dignity of India when he had his great thoughts and contributions in Bengali recognized in the bar of world opinion. That is your language. It is the language of India. I am sure that the languages of my friends from the south and the west, of which they are so proud, have also great records and must be protected and safeguarded in ample measure. I must feel that nothing has been done in the Constitution which may result in the destruction or liquidation or weakening of any one of these languages." Unquote. This extract admirably illustrates Dr. Mookerjee's rootedness in the classical traditions of India, even as he is aware of the need to preserve the regional legacies. Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee was the first to introduce Indian vernacular languages such as Bengali as subjects in the highest examinations in the university. He had taken Bengali as his master's subject to personally illustrate the importance of the mother tongue. During his tenure, Rabindranath Tagore delivered the Calcutta University Convocation Address in Bengali for the first time, thereby underscoring the preeminence of the mother tongue, which is not just a language, but also one's identity, in a world fraught with numerous affiliations and contradictions. Thus, in conclusion, I shall say, it is clear that Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee was a pioneer in the newborn Indian state in championing the cause of the regional languages, with a special focus on Sanskrit as the root language of India and Bengali as a rich repository of literary heritage which all the world should recognize and celebrate. Now, this attitude, I feel, was not promulgated with a narrow chauvinism, but with a deep understanding of the pluralistic linguistic orientation of the nation, a humanistic insight into the emotional workings of the regional psyche, and a consequent wish to balance the pulls exerted by the different provinces with their distinct demands and the necessity for a lingua franca that would unify the new nation state through a commonly accepted official language. This is my humble tribute to a visionary thinker whose early contribution to the critical dialogues which shaped the language policy of India was indeed commendable. Thank you.